Hi, we're with Ben Thomas from Elula. Ben, thanks very much for your time today. So what is data visualization?
I think a data visualization is being able to take data and transform it into a very intuitive format, okay, where the insights actually jump off the page. Now let's contrast that with traditional static reporting, which is often spreadsheet-based. I like to nickname it the bus timetable. It just looks like a table of lots of different data points, and it's very hard for leaders to actually interpret it, and too often they actually just don't bother reading it, or they just delete it. Data visualization is all about making those insights jump off the page in a very intuitive way that will actually drive action to push the business outcomes that you want.
How can finance leaders get value out of data visualization?
Well, it sounds very simple, but actually the very first step is, before you do any sort of analysis, any data visualization, any sourcing of data, is to actually look at what are the business outcomes you want to drive. Now that sounds easy, it's actually hard. So what I recommend usually is to have at least a 2-3 hour workshop with your key business stakeholders, the key business leaders, and really whiteboard, brainstorm what the key priorities are. Typically what we find is actually there's about 10, even up to 20 different business priorities that come up. What you should actually do then is narrowly focus on what are those key business outcomes you want to drive. Hopefully you land on 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or 4. Now if that's about an enhanced customer experience, if that's about driving profit, if it's about driving revenue or reducing costs, risk, whatever the outcomes are, that should be the focus. So from that, everything should then be derived. The second piece is that once you know what the actual focus should be, is you need to be as prescriptive as possible. You need to actually enable the business leaders to drive actions. And that, again, sounds easier than it actually is. So you have to be clear about what actions they want to do. Once you do that, you can look to ensure you have accurate and reliable data. You can look at doing really intuitive visualizations, and one of the rules I've always had for years is that if someone who has no context for the business problem can't understand the data visualization in 5 seconds or less, that analyst starts over. Okay? You can start doing those clean minimalist designs, but again, the focus should be that the insights jump off of the data visualization and that a leader can take action to drive the business outcome that they've agreed is the priority.
Is this something a finance lead should drive, or a CEO?
I think it should be both, and also I think it should be bottom up. What we find is the most powerful data visualization in terms of driving business outcomes is actually when the same dashboard is used by both the most senior execs in an organization and also the most junior folks. Because then everyone's seeing off the same sheet of song music, and you can see as an individual contributor how you impact the overall business outcomes.
So when people have been through this journey, what's the reaction to get?
You know, that's actually my favorite part, Geoff, is when that aha moment happens and you see people's eyes light up. Something that they've always thought, had a gut feeling, seemed to be right, but they've never been able to find data to actually prove it. When the insights jump off the page in a really beautiful, clean data visualization, and they actually see what they can do, they get very excited and they often drive to action right away. In many cases, we've seen, in terms of data visualization, returns on ROI of 10x. In other cases, in terms of customer experience, we've seen turnaround time drop by as much as 50%.
On what sort of timescale would someone expect to see the benefit?
Pretty rapidly, actually. You know, in many cases, depending on the capability of a team, we can actually have a data visualization stood up as short as a few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly, and you can be realizing benefit, you know, very, very rapidly.
Ben, thanks very much for your time today. That's some really interesting information.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for watching.